Hello to everyone. Good morning for some, good afternoon for the others. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Marta Klepka. I'm representing the company called Gemius. I have a pleasure to host the blog about internet in Central and Eastern Europe, where we will talk with my guests about the overview of the internet, as well as online advertising, media landscape, and other similar subjects. I would love to know actually who you are all, guys. I would love to start with a short introduction. So let's maybe start from the gentleman here on the left side. If you can tell us a few words about yourself, and then we will go everyone one by one. Okay, of course I'm joking. That would be a great introduction, but just if you could tell me who from you is working in agency. Please raise your hands. Agencies, raise your hands. All right, we have some agencies. Publishers, advertising networks, media. Okay, pretty much the same. Advertisers, any advertisers here? Fantastic. And suppliers, agencies, tools. Okay, great. Okay, so my task today, and our task today, is to ask you, do you see the potential of the region? Probably you do because you are here, so we will try to prove with our results, with our presentations and our discussion, that CEE is a strong and very dynamically growing region. Let me start with a bit of self-promotion. Even though it's hard to imagine for me, some of you do not know Gemius. Of course, again, I'm joking. But I heard from one person yesterday during the dinner, who is Gemius? What company is that? So if not all of you know us, then I will tell you a few words why actually I'm here to tell you about internet industry and give you the overview, because we are the company that is the #1 choice when it comes to measurement, when it comes to analysis and consultancy on behavior world. What does it mean? Basically, we are a one-stop shop for all of you, for publishers, for agencies, and for advertisers, to provide you with the data about your campaigns, about your websites, and to measure your communication in the most effective way. Gemius, as a mammal, it stands on 4 legs. One leg is internet audience measurement, so we are providing the panels on the market. We are asking internet users what they do, who they are. We are merging this information with measurement of the websites. We are measuring sites, multimedia content, clicks, and so on. Our third area of operations is ad serving. So we deliver the campaigns and we also measure their effectiveness. And last but not least, in our group of agencies, because there are 4 companies in the group, we also have the company that is doing the online research. In fact, Gemius is the online currency when it comes to measuring internet in CEE region. This is the region which is our strongest part. We come from Poland, established in 1999, and we are very proud to be here and to tell you a bit about the market. Okay, so I'm keeping back the board with self-promotion to my pocket, and now let's let the numbers to speak for themselves. So I will tell you about a few things. First is the size of the market and its growth, then potential, ad spends, formats, and I will highlight the most important trends on the markets, which we found the most interesting. When it comes to the size, currently in the region you have, and what is important, please take a look at this chart behind me, you also have Turkey included in CEE. Probably it's a pretty controversial decision, but actually Gemius is measuring a Turkish market as well. And to provide you with an overview, with a comparison, we also added Turkey here. So in all those countries which we are measuring here, we have over 150 million users in 2011. And 1/3 of these users is coming from Russia. So definitely Russia is the biggest market. Number 2, I was asked yesterday by one of my colleagues from the industry, which market is number 2 in CEE. This is definitely Poland. Almost 20 million users, we are getting there. But still, in this ranking, number 2 is Turkey. This is a very fast growing market. Okay, so we know how many users are there, but now let's take a look how we are growing actually. If there is around 150 million users in the whole region, a bit more, then if we grew with 16 million year to year, it means on average every market grows with 10%. So this is pretty slow pace, and it's a bit scary slide, because if we're going to continue in this pace, we will reach Western markets in less than a decade, which is not so impressive. But there are great examples like Ukraine, which just noted a 44% increase year to year. So this is a very dynamically growing market. You see other markets are, again, Eastern markets, so Russia and Belarus as well. Now we know how many users. Let's take a look into different metric, which tells us what's the percentage of internet users in the total population. So internet penetration. Here we see visibly the trend that the smaller market, where setting of the infrastructure is easier, they are leading in the ranks. They have the highest penetration. Here the leaders are Baltic states and Slovenia. Belarus is a really great example here. The infrastructure is also, the penetration is also growing very dynamically. And okay, it's all great that we have internet penetration, but all in all, the traditional internet is mostly standing on broadband connection. So let's take a look where Central Eastern Europe is when it comes to broadband connection. Unfortunately, only few of our markets, which is not a big surprise, but that's a fact, are following the EU average. But still are, and there are some Central Eastern European markets which are much worse than even the smaller Western markets. Okay, let's take a look at the potential. So let's talk money. When it comes to money, obviously, and we will have a guest from Russia who will tell us a bit more about it, Russia is definitely number one. So year to year, 2009, 2010, we noted around 700 million euro in Russia in terms of ad revenues, and it's only internet. So as you see, Russian, Poles, and Czechs are leading the rank. Then you have the Turkey. So even though the Turkey is the market number 2 in terms of size, still the money is not following as quickly as another markets, but obviously it's getting there. And then you have the group of smaller markets, which is opened by Slovakia. It's also a very nice and dynamically growing market, very innovative. Still, you know, obviously, the more people you have in every country, the more ad spends you are having. So it's important to take a look at one more factor, which is ad spend per capita. So here, for 5 years in a row, Czech Republic is undisputed leader, and they are noting the largest ad spend per capita, which is around 60 euro. Per person, which is still not so much if you compare it to Western markets, where these numbers are oscillating around 300 euros. So there's a long way to go. As you see, Czech Republic is number 1, but the rest of the markets have much less money per person. And importantly, to get a bigger picture, where is online as a share of total? Of course, we should not compare ourselves to markets like UK and Denmark, where internet is number 1 medium. But if we compare ourselves to other markets, like Mediterranean markets, you can see that, that there are countries in Central Eastern Europe that are already overtaking Mediterranean markets, especially such countries like Italy and Portugal, where the share of internet in the total media mix is larger. Belarus is a really interesting example here. It's really growing very quickly. And as you see, it's overtaking Turkey, for example. Okay, and a few words about formats. Probably IAB was talking today about the fact that, okay, share is growing globally, but still in Central Eastern European, there's a lot of display ads. That's true. We are measuring in Gemius, we're providing ad monitoring service to a few markets. It's Czech Republic, Poland, Slovakia, and Hungary. And as you see here, when it comes to the formats, still regular banners, they are prevailing, they are the leaders. Around 90% in Hungary, Czech Republic also, 80% of these campaigns that we measure actually are including these formats. Other formats are less popular, but whether it means they are less effective, not necessarily, because as you see on the next slide, the regular banners, the CTR, the click-through ratio, okay, of course, it's not a big surprise that it's much lower than aggressive formats like top layers or expands, But what is really interesting here is just to take a look at the pre-roll in-stream video, in-stream advertising. It's really going well, and it's really effective. It's number 2 in Slovakia, it's number 5 in Hungary, and also has a very strong position in Poland. And last but not least, when it comes to, share of ad impression by sector. So which sectors are advertising the most? We have 3 leaders in all the markets. You see the data for Czech Republic. Yellow is finance sector, telecommunications is blue, and automotive is the third one. And basically all these countries all these industries are following in all the markets. Okay, let's close with a few highlights about the industry. First one is video advertising. This is definitely the trend which we see, and it's growing really well. In 2015, in 2012, according to Cisco, half of the traffic globally will be coming from, it will be video traffic. Also, to Central Europe, this trend is coming, and this will happen a bit later, but you can already see that the video traffic, video ad spends, they are here in the region. The money is growing, is coming a bit slower than we could expect. Here, we don't have the data for all the markets from Central Eastern Europe, but for those that we have results, you can see Poland, for example, the increase was comparable to increase of Sweden. Of course, it's from lower base, but still the growth rate, the pace of growth is visible. And Poland and Slovakia, they also have pretty large share in terms of video spent in online display generally. It's comparing to Netherlands or UK. So it's pretty impressive. Second trend, mobile. Everyone always says it's going to be a year of mobile. Was that a year of mobile? Is it a year of mobile? For sure the traffic is there. Again, we can see the huge increase. This is again Cisco data. Globally, mobile traffic will increase 26 times between 2010 and 2015. As you see, the blue part of this graph, it's video. So again, mobile video is the largest chunk of this traffic. What is important is that we all think, because we all have, probably most of you have either some tablet or smartphone, and we think it's like everyone has it. Obviously, that's not true. It's not a niche, but it's still not for everyone. So globally, for example, 20% of traffic is generated by 1% of subscribers. So it means there are groups which are more active, and for sure through mobile internet you will get to specific target groups. When it comes to the Central Eastern European region, what I'm showing you now is the data about Bulgaria, Hungary, Ukraine, and Czech Republic. Actually, this slide got a bit weird. I don't know why. Sorry for that. But as you can see, this is the yellow part of the circle. Those are page views from mobile devices. The blue is the traffic which comes from non-mobile devices. That's according to our measurement. We are measuring majority of the publishers on these markets. So these numbers are not too impressive. They're oscillating 1.52% of all the traffic. Nevertheless, when we looked last year, they were only half of what we have today. So the growth is definitely visible, and we are still not measuring all mobile websites. So the more mobile websites we will measure, I'm sure this traffic will grow more dynamically. But as you see, the comparison is here to Denmark. Denmark has around 7% of traffic coming from mobile devices. So it is also the difference between Denmark and Slovakia, for example, is not so big. Whether the money is following, not really still, not really, and probably you can all feel it. Your clients, agencies, publishers, you all feel that still. When it comes to mobile ad spends, there is a long way home, long way to success. The blue chunk, again, the blue part is mobile message advertising. Again, text messages are the most important, and this is eMarketer data, their forecasts. Mobile search advertising and mobile display advertising, so yellow and green, as you see, they still get much less than text. What are Central Eastern European users using? Which tools? Apple is definitely the leader. As you see in CEE, it gets around 35% of all the traffic. Samsung is number 2. Number 3 is HTC. These are some average data. Definitely the largest growth is on iPad market. iPad, it had a big boost. In 2010, it had around 10% of all the traffic that we measured from non-mobile devices. It already, in September, this part has already doubled. So it's already 20% of the traffic is measuring from iPads. It's really impressive growth in tablets market. And not all the markets are as early adopters of iPads as the others. As you can see, on some of the markets, the iPhones are prevailing, an example of Slovakia and, for example, Bulgaria or Hungary. Other markets like Russia and Ukraine, where definitely iPads are much more popular. Okay, and let's close with social media. I'm not sure, but if any of you, I'm interested if any of you know which market has the most users of Facebook in Europe. Any guesses? Turkey, exactly. That's a very good example. For some, surprisingly, for some it's obvious. Definitely Turkey is the biggest market for Facebook in Europe. It's larger than the UK. And I would say that our bloc, Central Eastern European, has a huge potential for Facebook. Obviously, on Western markets, it's pretty saturated, so there is not so much room to grow. But as you see, this growth is still pretty impressive. Only in Romania, in the last 6 months, for example, it's 20% of more users of Facebook just in 6 months. There are obviously markets like Russia and Poland, where Nasza Klasa rebranded recently to NK. It's less or more successfully, but fighting with Facebook, using different business models. Probably we'll also discuss it with our guests. But there are some losers. Examples of Hungary, where if it was the largest social network, it definitely lost with Facebook, and it lost already last year. And the big question will be about these guys, so G+, what will happen and where they are, because if they have enough money to launch the platform in just a few months to pump $500,000, then probably we will still hear about them. Okay, so that's it from me. Thank you very much, and let me invite you other guests and our panelists. So if you could please all come here. And our first guest will be Alexey Bilayev. Alexey is representing IAB Russia. Alexey will tell us a bit more about the market trends. This is one of the most interesting markets, probably.
Am I supposed to stay?
Yeah, you can. Okay. One of the most interesting markets for all of us. Also, Alexey, since is working in industry organization, will be able to put a bit more light when it comes to position of internet versus other media, and which industries are actually investing the most in online in Russia.
Hello. Thanks for coming and joining us to listen for all this CEE presentation. Okay, I'll start with a few basic figures about Russian internet market. We always start with the ad spends. So ad spends in Russia currently is something like 14% of all ad spends, and this is data for the first half of year 11, and for this period we have 28% growth. As you can see, the market, thank you. As you can see, the market, more than half of the market is TV advertisement, and currently we are on the 4th place with outdoor and print pretty close to us, and we hope that this year, on total of year 11, we'll be able to overcome print and outdoor as well, and become the media number 2 on ad spends. if it comes to Russian internet audience, a few very basic figures. Currently, we think that in Russian town population, we have something like 55 to maybe 60 million of people using internet at least once a month. And the penetration in total town population is about 50%, and the penetration among teenagers is higher than 90%. In a couple of smaller groups, very narrow groups, we have something like 96 to 98%, which means that each teenager uses internet on a weekly basis at least. We still expect some growth because Russia is huge. And, but we expect that this growth will come in small towns and in rural areas, because in megapolises such as Moscow and St. Petersburg and in large cities, we already have something like 70% penetration, and we think that it's stabilized on this level. And main driver, as we see it, for the connection is not ADSL, but we think that the main driver in the next few years will be mobile wireless connection. Because for rural areas and for small towns, that's really important way to connect to the internet. Okay, back to monies. We can see here how the Russian internet market is rated in Europe. It's not very high according to digital ad spend data from IAB, but if it comes to dynamics, we are number one, and it's more than 1/3 over the year 10. And here is the history. This is the slide I'd like to show because it shows how the industry grow and become mature. So there are two axes, and on horizontal axis it's the internet penetration in percents, and on the vertical axis it's share of digital ad spends. And if it comes year after year, we'll see small button, which is tricolored according to our flag. The size of button is is proportional to the size of all digital ad spends. And this is year 02, and here time comes, and you see the button comes up and to the high, more and more and more, and even more. And this is year 010. So what we see here is the budgets become huge. The penetration was in 10 in year 10 it was something like 40% plus, and the share of budgets was close to 12%. And it's very good until we make a click and go to the next slide and compare it with other markets. And here it goes. Same axis, different scale. Here we are such small, and to the left and to the bottom of to the origin of axis. Why? Well, because there are also other countries. Say, this is Brazil. It's even worse. And this is Poland. Wow, it's better. Well, it's smaller, but it's understandable. Poland is smaller than Russia. Sorry, Marta. Well, but at least the share of market, even in 010, it was higher. And here comes Germany. It's much better. And here comes UK. Wow, it's smaller. The population is smaller than Russia, but the size of buttons much better, much larger. And now United States. So, what we can say from these charts? There are a lot of space for our markets to grow. We still have a time to go. We still have the space to go to the right, to get more people in the internet, and correspondingly go upstairs, enlarging the share of internet ad spends. And I would like also to show you how it happens, how it happened in Russia. Again, there will be a little bit complicated chart. So this is cars, automotive industry, cars and dealers. What we have is the snowflake, 6 axes, you know. Each axis shows share of budget which comes to this particular media. So to the north, upstairs, to the north up is the axis responsible for TV, national TV in Russia. Then it comes print media, outdoor, regional TV, because we have several regions and some TV stations also only broadcast in few regions. Then radio, and then display advertisement. This is part of our internet budgets. Not all the budgets, only 1/3 of them approximately, but still 1/3 of all internet budgets. Now let's look how automotive budgets distribute between these things. The center is 0%, and end of graph is something like 50% of all budgets. So what we can see, blue area is how all budget distribute in Russia in year 2008. That was before crisis, last half a year before crisis in Russia. Approximately 50% went to national TV, something like 20-something% goes to print, something like 20% to outdoor, and display got 2% only. And red line is how cars spend in different media. Cars spend a little bit more in display, but not very much more. And now we switch on the time. Remember, this was 2008 before crisis. Crisis come. And you see all the budgets come from print to display. Again, one year more, they take budgets from national TV and move it to display. And even one more year, this is first half of this year, so it's a kind of recovery, but still budgets are in display, no budgets in print, less budgets in outdoor, poor radio, and even TV just got less than averagely. Same story with the mobile phones. Again, before crisis, outdoor a lot, TV a lot, display something. Oops, display began to grow, outdoor, we have eaten the outdoor, we completely eat the print, and we even start to get some budgets from TV. Not all industries are the same. This is FMCG. Year after year, they still get money, they still spend most of the money on national TV and no money in display. So that's all. Thank you. I hope it wasn't too much.
Can I have the speaker up? Thank you so much, Alexei. Now we have a second speaker, Tomasz Lauko from Zenit Optimedia. Tomasz is from Czech Republic, and we are happy, we are lucky to have Tomasz here because Zenit Optimedia, as you know, is measuring a lot about advertising. So I hope, Tomasz, you could tell us a bit more about general trends, where is internet versus other media, print, TV, whether we are able to follow the users, how they are moving. And basically how to convince our clients to invest more in online and not to spend too much on cluttered television, for example.
Great. Thank you, Marta. I will try not to get a T sign. This is the fact. Everybody, all the media are fighting for the same piece of meat. What do I mean by that? Is that some media types and media are getting squeezed and some media are winning. This is the reality, the comparison between 2007 and 2011 data for media spends for Central Eastern Europe. As you can see, basically the budgets overall for the regions remain the same, but the splits between the media types shifted considerably. You see that the ones that are really squeezed is mostly newspapers and magazines, and the ones that are squeezing them is in the orange you can see digital, and in green you can see television. But the question is, can television grow? You know, I was on the previous slide, I was showing television in Central Eastern Europe accounts already for 56% of the overall spend. If you compare it with the UK, TV historically was an average on the levels of 30%. Can we grow more? The limitation is the inventory available. If you have a look on the left side, you have year 2010 commercial TV stations. This is an example from Czech Republic. On the right side is the year 2011. As the lines are approaching the top, this means that the TV stations are becoming sold out, and the only measure how to balance it, because to be sold out is definitely not their strategy. Ideally, they should keep sellout at the level of 80%. They need to increase the prices, which will help other media types to hopefully eat out some share from it. On this slide, which might look a little bit complicated, just explain quickly. On the vertical axis, you see the share of ad spend, and on the horizontal axis, the share of time spent with a medium. The size of a bubble is a commercial weekly reach. And this is what happened in the UK in 6 years, between 2002 and 2008. If I would be showing 2011, internet would be even more higher, and TV would be nearly approximately the same. The question is this happening in Central Eastern Europe? So I took the most advanced or digitalized markets in Central Eastern Europe, which are also similar in the dynamics, and it's Poland and Czech Republic. This is the data comparison between 2002 and 2010. As you can see, internet growing, and these are data up to 2010. If we had 11, the internet would be already nearly up to 20% when it comes to the ad spend share. When it comes to the TV, it's able still to preserve and hold the position. And this is what we see in most of CEE markets, is that internet is gaining share mostly from newspapers, magazines, and as well out of home. The thing is that this is general overall population. When we have a look at the younger target group, I mean, it's younger, it's 18-34. I'm not exaggerating, and I, by purpose, took the data not for example, teenage target group. 18-34 share of time spent is already much lower in television than the overall population. So what do? What do they consume? Yes, you're right, they consume digital. But when it comes to the viewership, they start to move and shift to the digital platforms. This is just to compare the UK data from 2008. So internet is nearly there, but we can see that the structure of the TV market or TV behavior in Western Europe, and particularly in the UK, compared with the Central Eastern Europe, is much different. So I was mentioning the gap, how it can be closed, and still unused opportunity is online video. It's not just a hype, it's reality. We had a discussion about the Russian market, about the time spent on Vkontakte, about the role of YouTube internally when we were discussing in a backstage. The trend is there, but it's still being broken down by agencies, by advertisers, and also by some not fully aligned measurement possibilities. So I will tell you now 3 reasons why it is wise to invest into online video. First point, it builds much cheaper incremental reach. This is an example from Coca-Cola data from YouTube by Google, research done. As you can see, on this axis, on the vertical axis, it's a brand impact driven by media, and on the horizontal one is the spend. You see the red line is the combination of TV and YouTube. They're delivering on the brand impact and incremental reach. What is important to mention is that sometimes only 3 to 5% of the TV budget shift to online video can help you to save considerable part of money, where exactly TV stops to build reach, but online video basically buys it and delivers cheap. Second trend, online video is much better in delivering ad recall and recognition. If we would have this performance in television, I think that every advertiser in the world would be super happy. So for ad recognition on TrueView pre-rolls on YouTube, this is commission research from as well Google from Czech Republic. 81% of users who watch the pre-roll to the fullest recall the brand. Very impressive number. Thirdly, why to use online video? Because it's easy to socialize and work with. I was showing you that for the target group 18-34, the time spent with the TV, it's much lower. what do they do? We need to follow them and find the places where they consume the content. An example of how to work with it. You have a relevant online video content. It can be a TV station, it can be online publisher, it can be print publisher, it can be YouTube, you name it. You have the content, relevant target group. You can place your online video ads. In ideal case, they could be tailor-made, they will be shorter, but there is not so much investment needed for it. Thirdly, you can have, for example, TV show, which is broadcasted in a TV archive of the given TV station online. Or it can be online publisher, online show. You can sponsor the talent and use the content to promote it, or further, to push it through product integration into basically user experience. And lastly, you can socialize this content. This content can be used for the social networks. You can add likes. You can measure traffic, and you have immediately tangible data. So, what is very important, and lastly, I will to conclude with this: people want to participate. Online video is a great supplement and contribution for overall brand building campaigns. And lastly, the participants are already there. It's not a trend which is emerging. It is a trend that is already here in our region. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Tomasz. We have a third guest, Marcin Woźniak from Arbo Interactive from Poland, so advertising network. And Marcin is representing the publishers today in our discussion, and he will tell us a bit more about the trends in online media. Marcin, if you could tell us a bit about the new ecosystem, what kind of new things you see and whether they are here already. So much talks about different new phenomenons. Where is the traffic coming to online publishers? Whether it was Google, what are the trends now? And obviously about the long tail. What should the smaller publishers do? There are some giants, advertising networks are growing. What are the solutions for smaller publishers?
Thank you very much, Marta, for all these questions. I will try to address them within my short presentation. First, I would like to also thank you for inviting me here, and it's a really privilege to speak on this stage to such a nice and big auditorium. So, to address your questions, I would concentrate on a couple of trends and thoughts that I would like to share with you, especially with those of you, as we know that we have a number of people from publisher side, from advertising networks. I would like to share some points with you, how the market is developing and what would be the near future. So I will tell you a little bit about the new ecosystem in terms of real-time bidding, then social media, and especially the Facebook, the role of Facebook as also driver of traffic, and then the importance of data, especially for the niche websites as the additional revenue source, and what's the future for the advertising networks. So let's start with the new ecosystem. We have the whole, let's say, new vocabulary popping up every day and on all the conferences. Real-time bidding, trading desk, audience network, DSP platform, SSP, ad exchanges, and all others. There is a lot of discussion about that. These topics are really very hot. And in one sentence to say what it is about is that we have the possibility, the advertisers have the possibility not to buy based on normal CPMs, not a spot buy, but to make a bidding for each individual inventory, for each individual impression. And if the impression meets certain criteria and certain given price, then the impression is given. So it's a kind of auction platform. So as I mentioned, that's very hot topics and there is a lot of discussion. However, in terms of implementation, this is still something new. I do not see this happening this year at least in our region, in Central Eastern Europe. We have, let's say, a small implementation in Poland, but that's the only beginning. Even in the United States, still the share of the campaigns bought through these platforms in such a way is still only 1 digit, the share. So that's something for the future. But we as publishers, we have to be really concerned about this, because that's good for the market when there is a higher supply than demand, because this naturally can drive the effective CPMs higher and increase the efficiency of our effective CPMs. However, for the markets like ours, like in Central Eastern Europe, we do not have really problems with demand. We do not have a problem with supply. We have a lot of supply. We do not have demand. So in our markets, when we have more inventory than the potential buyers, introduction of these tools at the wider scale will lead to the drop of effective CPMs, and at the end of the day also it can have an influence on the revenues for the publishers. So we have to be quite careful with the decision on whether to put the inventory on these platforms or not, and also having in mind that that's the one way to go. So once the game starts, then it will be quite difficult to withdraw and losing the control. So also there can be mediate solutions like private ad exchanges, which are enabling to keep the control on the premium inventory, rather than just open exchanges that are just competing and then we do not have much control. Anyway, that's something for the future. Second thought is concerning Facebook and concerning the role of social media. As you can see on this graph, I have compared the number of page views generated on Facebook, compare it to total number of page views generated in different countries, which, if we assume that the length of impression is the same on Facebook as average in the market, it means it shows also the time spent by users in internet and on Facebook. So what is interesting is that Turkey has got 47%, which means that Turkey is not only the biggest in Europe in terms of the users, but also how intensively people are consuming this medium, shows that Facebook is actually half of the time spent in internet is spent on Facebook. And also countries like Serbia or Bulgaria, more than 37%. As a benchmark, United States, 30%. So it shows the position of Facebook in our markets, and it shows how important it is also for publishers. The only markets that Facebook is not dominating yet in our region is Poland. However, the situation, we have a very strong local player, Nasza Klasa. However, the situation is at the moment that Facebook has already reached the same level as Nasza Klasa, and Nasza Klasa has got rather lowering statistics, and Facebook is growing. And Russia. In Russia, definitely the local players, Odnoklassniki and Kontakty, are the leaders, and still, even if the Facebook is growing, still the base is very low. Why it is important for the publisher? It's important because it is changing a little bit the landscape, how people are consuming the content and how they are finding out about the content. So up until now, it was search, it was Google who was the main starting point for people that started with Google, and after that ended in with a concrete content with a concrete publisher. However, what is happening at the moment, apart from Google, we have also a Facebook, which is driving traffic through social recommendation. The information, we are not looking for the information on search, but the information is finding ourselves through the recommendations because our friends are recommending this to us and the information is getting to us. And that's important for the publishers because they have this data, they have the content, and they have to make sure that they are properly visible on Facebook, because Facebook is not a medium, it's not a content, it's on a technological platform that enables publishing and sharing of content. So there are tools, Facebook Connect, which can drive the traffic in both ways, through Facebook to the website, but also we can adopt certain plugins that are also able to add the, let's say, social graph when people are consuming the media on publisher sites. Okay, the next thing is the next important thing is the data. In my opinion, also the data is the key driver for the future. Of course, people, users, when they are visiting, making their digital path, they are leaving a lot of footprints that after that can be taken, analyzed, and used. Of course, we have to be careful with everything what Alan was concerned in the morning presentation. So consumers have to be aware, and this has to be transparent. And also the regulatory bodies has to be aware of that and has to accept. However, the data is a king, and this can be added value for very niche websites, or even can be a main source of revenues for some publishers. And then, what is the future of advertising network? The market is changing, the business models are changing. We cannot only resell the traffic of the publishers. We need to add value. And we are doing this in many different ways. So we can add value through technology, through data, through integrated solutions, through premium offering, and through reach. And here's a good example from Poland about the reach. Advertising networks, when we combine the traffic from different publishers, that's the only possibility to create the biggest possible reach. And here is an example from Poland that Arbo Interactive actually at the moment has got almost 100% of the reach. We are able to get to every user in Poland, 99%, which is 10% more than Google and 30% more than the next, the biggest publisher on it. And on this graph, we have comparison not to the total audience of internet, but we are comparing to the total population of Poland, because that's the key factor, that we have more than 50% of total users in total population in Poland. We are able to get to every second Polish people. That creates the possibility to create nice products and really compete with classical media like TV, press, and the others. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcin. I hope we have time at least for one question from audience. Do you guys have any questions? Let's use the opportunity. Don't go anywhere yet. Stay with us, please. We are not done. Do you have any questions? We have, really amazing guys here. I have my questions, but if you have anything to ask, please speak up. Okay. Anyone? Okay, I don't see any hands raised, so. The most interesting fact, as we were discussing for us, is that our clients, advertisers that are here also with us today, how they are getting more educated in online? What's the situation? Are we doing this successfully? Can we have the microphones, please?
Number 3.
Number 3? Good, thank you. They are, the more, I would say, digital performance-driven clients, they search for the education and self-education themselves, and in many cases, they are even pushing the agencies to improve. Where I see a gap, where I'll be pissing on our own parade on the agencies, is that we should be educating our own clients much more often. If this is not going to be, if we will be saying that we don't have enough share because it's going still to TV, I think it's our own fault not to be maybe investing in the research more, not to be spending time, and not to be even educating the older, I would say, planning base of our stuff. And it has two stems for us because we are handling most of the advertising budgets of our clients. And it's a big responsibility, and we should be proactively approaching it. But to answer your question, yes, there are clients, for example, our biggest client in Czech Republic, O2, they have internally very strong digital team, up to 40 people. And they are very challenging, but I'm very happy for that because we have opportunity to learn together.
You guys? Do you have anything to add? Because I was very surprised that in Russia, for example, that we didn't have telecoms in the top spenders. So.
Okay, speaking about Russia, I see the situation that we have two levels of advertisers. One is the representative of huge multinational companies. And in this case, yes, they are educated and they come with a request which industry partly cannot supply. I mean that, say, normally huge FMCG brand is coming to Russia, is coming to internet industry in Russia and say, well, I need this, and this, and normally we buy, say, 2% of traffic through RTB, but there is no real-time bidding system in Russia, so they have no way to buy it. This is one pole, one side of market. Another side of market is something like thousands and thousands and thousands small and medium businesses, which is not that much indicated, but in our country, portals and publishers and media do a lot to promote the media, to promote the advertising possibility, and, well, say one of the sponsors of this conference, the diamond sponsor, Yandex, they spend, I believe that one conference each 2 weeks, one seminar each 2 weeks takes place in one of the cities or one of the huge regions of Russia to educate the advertisers.
Yeah,
so
Google does the same in Czech Republic, for example.
Yes, Google does the same, but in smaller scale in Russia because it's...
yeah.
Okay. I guess we don't have more time, so thank you very much. And
thank you.
Thank you all the audience.